Alright, Chris, I want to take a minute and talk batteries. New Lipo batteries. There's a little bitty Lipo battery that I picked up for the little 18th scale truck. You can see I have my better battery in here. This is 1600 milliamps. This little guy is 1320. 13C is the discharge rate. 7.4 volts is a 2-cell. That's the main information you need to know there. It's got 2 leads, power and balance. Okay, looking at the charger, it also has power and balance. Now, some chargers, this is built in to the side of the charger or whatever. Mine has it on a little lead. They're all do the same job. Now, this is the power wire for the charger, and you'll notice that doesn't plug into the wall. It's not going to work because this is DC 11 to 18 volts is the input power, so it doesn't run on AC power at all. So it comes with these little clippies that actually slide over the banana plugs, and that way you can clip this onto your car battery and charge out in the field. But when you're at home, you need a power supply. And I have this power supply here. It is 12 volt, 8 amp. You can see right there, kind of on the left. Output is 12 volts at 8 amps. The little lines are, shadows, focus. The little lines have a solid line on top and dotted line on the bottom, so that's DC power. So I can take this, come on, focus, and I can plug these in. I'm going to have to do this off camera. Black to black and red to red. And all I did with this is I just chopped the power cord wire that was on this and just spliced on some little connectors so that I could plug in my banana plugs. And now it's powered on. And you can see that it's set up for Lipo charging at 1.6 amps. So the last battery I charged was probably this one, because this is 1600 milliamps. This battery is 1320. So I would actually take this, oops, come on, focus. There we go, I don't know if you can see it now. And I would actually change my amps down to 1.3 to charge this one, because I always charge them at 1C, which is, you just move the decimal place over 1, 2, 3 places. So milliamps, 1,320 milliamps is the same as 1.32 amps. So I'm charging it at its milliamp hour rating. So I would set this up at 1.3 amps, 7.4 volts, and I would plug in this lead here, and I would hit charge, and that would charge it. Okay? Every now and then, you don't do it every time, I'm going to hit stop. You want to actually do, instead of a Lipo charge, you do a Lipo balance. Once again, 1.3 amps for this particular battery, 7.4 volts, matches here. And then when I plug this in, I plug in not only the main power, but then I would plug in here. Now this slot is for 2S. It's got 3 pins, similar to this having 3 pins. This would be for 3S, 4 pins, 4S, 5S, and 6S. So my charger can do up to a 6S battery, being 6 cells. So we would hit start on this, and it would check the battery, and then once it's up and going, I'm going to plug this in, set you down, sorry. So I'm going to plug this in, it's okay. There we go. Now if I hit start, if I just push it once, it's going to blink, and that's for setting stuff up. Push it again, it'll come over here and blink for this. 2S is 7.4 volts. That's all correct, so we're not going to change any of that. I'm going to push and hold, and it's going to check my battery. So it's looking into it, and it says here that it sees that it's a 2S, and everything's okay, so confirm, enter. So I'm going to hit enter again, and now it's going to start charging. Because I'm on a balance, I can actually hit right And I can see that cell 1 is getting 4.20, cell 2 is getting 4.20, cell 3, cell 4, cell 5, and cell 6 don't matter because that would be for a 3, 4, 5, or 6 cell battery. And we can see it's only charging at 0.4 amps. That's because this is already charged. So it's only going to trickle in a little bit of juice and then realize it's full. And here in a few seconds it'll beep and say full up here and it'll be done. And so this pack would be full and ready to go. Interesting point is if you're not going to use your batteries for a while, you'd use Lipo storage. Your batteries, when they came from the factory, had like 80–85% charge in them. That's a storage charge. That's where Lipos are happy. They don't deteriorate as quickly at that charge level as they do anywhere else. And so if this was going to sit on the shelf for a month, I would actually do a storage charge instead of the regular full charge or the balance charge. And that way, this pack can sit on the shelf happy as a clam. Then when I pull it out and go to drive it, I would actually put it on here under a normal charge or under a balance charge, charge it up to 100%, and then go drive. So storage charge is exactly what it sounds like. It's for when it's going to sit for a while. That is about it for Lipo batteries. So you can see here that the last time I put a battery in storage, I charged it 2.5 amps. This just remembers it. I wouldn't want to do that. I want to charge this battery at 1.3. So always make sure that you're charging it the correct amount of amps. This battery, I charge at 5 because it's a 5,000 milliamp hour. So this battery here, it's not a Lipo. This is a nickel metal hydride. But this one is a 3,000 milliamp. Right there is where it says it. So this one, I charge at 3 amps. So, and I would charge this not as a Lipo, I'd charge it as a nickel metal hydride, which is, if we back out here, nickel metal hydride. Then nickel cadmium. PB is a lead acid battery, like your car battery. Then you can save some data, you can load data. This is for, you can actually keep track of individual batteries by saving them into here. You can program it for certain settings, for shortcuts. People with lots of batteries have shortcuts. I don't have lots of batteries, I just set them up every time. And then we're back around to Lipo battery. You can discharge your batteries. There's no reason to ever discharge a Lipo, but sometimes you discharge nickel metal hydrides to give them some exercise to kind of bring them back to life. So that's why this has a cooling fan. The cooling fan won't run most of the time. It only really runs under discharge, and I think when you're charging for a really long time, stuff can get hot and it'll fire up. Most of the time that fan's not going to do anything, that's fine. Anyway, sorry for the long video. Just wanted to give you kind of a heads up on how this works. The only time you plug in the balance lead is when you pick to do a, let me see here, Lipo balance. That's the only time this plug ever gets used, ever. The rest of the time, you can just use the regular charge lead. Balance the pack, I'm going to say 1 out of every 5 times. I honestly just do it every now and then. I don't even keep track. But I think I probably average it every 3rd to 5th time. I go ahead and balance it up. And that way your cells are all at the same voltage and makes your batteries last longer and less likely to explode. Because we don't like batteries to explode. Well, the other thing is that's why I have this Lipo guard, is because you are supposed to charge your batteries inside of a Lipo bag. So when you go to hit charge, you'd actually set that battery inside of here, Velcro it up, and then you're ready to charge. These bags are like $3. So anyway, that's the ins and outs of your Lipo batteries. Any questions, let me know.